Item 4.2, we have a proclamation in recognition of Senator Tim Sheldon's years of service to Mason County. Commissioner Trask to please read.
Right. Whereas Tim Sheldon provided extensive leadership to Mason County and the state of Washington by serving in the Washington State Legislature for 31 years, serving in the Senate for 25 of those years. Whereas Tim also served as a commissioner for the Port of Hoodsport, Public Utility District Number 1, and Mason County. Whereas Tim served the 35th Legislative District well and with determination, political finesse, and hard work, Tim made sure the rural communities were recognized. Whereas Tim is an excellent public speaker and is well known for making his point by using colorful phrases such as the belt and suspenders approach, we're eating our seed corn, and don't get over your skis. Whereas Tim will continue to make significant positive contributions to Mason County, and now therefore, in recognition of Tim's public service and positive impact to Mason County, we hereby proclaim August 16th, 2022 as Senator Tim Sheldon Day in Mason County. Signed this 16th day of August, 2022.
Thank you, Commissioner Trask. Maybe we'll open this up for the commissioners to make a couple of comments, and then Senator, if you have a few words that you'd like to maybe share with us as well. I'll just say thank you for all the years of service. It was a pleasure to work with you down in Olympia when I was staff at the legislature, and then you were very gracious to me as I considered running for this seat in 2016 as you retired from the county. And I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for a conversation that you and I had up at the tree farm, sitting on some old stumps overlooking the canal, talking about the county and your work here and your deep affection for our part of the county, but the county as a whole in rural Washington, really. And so I know one of the funny things when I was running in 2016, a lot of people said, "Oh, he's just running to be another Tim Sheldon," and I don't think they meant that as a compliment necessarily. But the simple fact of the matter is, there is only one Tim Sheldon. There will ever only be one Tim Sheldon, and we're much better because of your years of dedicated public service. So thank you.
You know, I actually ran against you at one time, many, many years ago, but I also signed the document to allow you to run, if you remember. And then you went around and publicized that as quick as you possibly could. It was a good thing, though. That's how politics work. But one of my favorite parts was we were in a function in Duwato area, and they sat there and they said, you know, Randy, we love you, but you're running against Tim Sheldon. We love Tim. That was a pretty interesting and pretty fun time we actually had during that time. We actually got along great during the campaigns. We didn't have any issues at all between us. Some of the ones on the outside did, if you remember. We had a couple colorful ones happening there. I want to say my personal favorite, I'm just going to say his most well-known one his most well-known statement had to do with an enema that he had put out there that was all over the news. That one was the best one he ever did, in my opinion. I want to point out that people don't see it from out in the audience, but there's a wall that we face that has about 100 commissioners on the wall. And 150 years goes by, and some of these commissioners have served some different terms. There's only 3, I believe, that's ever served 3 terms in a row and finished it out, and you're one of those up on that wall that's done that in 150 years. And you know, there are people that have called me through this process. They don't like this, they don't like it. But you know what? You were always elected because they thought and felt you did them right. And that is the greatest honor that you could have, is to feel and to know that you did them right, regardless of what one person or 10 people might say. I deal with the same thing all the time. I served with you, and I remember we had some great battles, but at the same time, I remember 2 weeks later, after one of our bigger battles, I was down in Olympia, and Tim invited me in and took me down to lunch in the Senate's lunchroom, because that's how things are done. No matter how good a battle is for the moment, you still sit down and you work together and you make it happen. So I want to thank you also for a lot of education that you gave me over those years. And I say that because some of that education I received after you left, and I remember Tim, you saying this and this, and I'm like, damn, he said it. He told me, but it took me a couple years to get it later on. Thank you for that education. You did me well, you did our community well, and you deserve this.
So I think I met you first on the floor of the legislative building. And they said, this is a great guy. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Look at those eyes.
Democrat.
And you truly are one of my favorite people. Your guidance, your mentorship means so much to me. Your staff, and great staff, that shows that you're a great man. If you choose the right people, you become the best leader, and you really have. What you've done for Mason County, you put Mason County on the map. When people, because I'm on some state boards and state committees, and people love you. They know you, and they know that you love Mason County. And so I want to thank you for your guidance, your leadership, and for being such an important part of Mason County. Looking at your picture, the only thing that's changed is your hair. But love you tons.
Senator, if you wanted to maybe share a couple of words about your years of service, you can.
Sure, thank you.
You can do it from wherever you want.
Oh, I can stand up here like old times. Well, thank you very much for the recognition. It really is a pleasure to be back here. You know, I harken back a ways, and I had the good fortune to be born here in Sheldon. And you know, our family's been in the timber industry for a long time, and we're staying right here. So I had a chance to go up to the Little Wob Community Club the other day, and of course the Secretary of State had recognized the Hama Hama Company for 100 years of continuous incorporation up there. So we're a little ways behind them, but maybe we can catch up someday in Potlatch. But Randy, you remind me of something. The first time I ran for county commissioner, I was in the state senate, and I had left the Economic Development Council, and in those days we were just transforming into the top two primary. So there still was a partisan primary, and I didn't want to run as a Republican or a Democrat. I wanted to run as an independent. And as you look at all these pictures up here, nobody had ever run as an independent. Well, the rules stated, the Secretary of State, that I had to have a convention and have 100 signatures for my candidacy to move forward. Well, I thought, well, could I rent some hall someplace, or could I call up some people? How could I get more than 100 people at a convention? And so we decided with my son-in-law, Danny Berner, who has a law office here now in Sheldon. He was our chair of our committee, and my daughter and my wife, and a couple other people. We went to the Belfair Safeway parking lot with a document that if you signed, you had attended the convention it's Saturday morning in that on the parking lot, and we had 246 signatures, and Randy was good enough to sign as well. So anyway, so that put me on the general election ballot, but I still wasn't on the primary ballot. So when the primary came out, people didn't know I was running. They didn't know it until the ballots came out, and the first count I was 98 votes behind, and Constance Ibsen was the apparent winner. So I called her that night, said, well, congratulations, Constance, you'll enjoy the job, and this and that. And then the next day, the vote changed, and I was elected. But I served those 12 years at the same time I was in the Senate. I don't know anybody that's ever had that opportunity to do it, because I was close enough to go, and Diane and all the staff were so helpful, going back and forth to Olympia, trying to set the schedule so I could do both jobs. And the Democrats tried to recall me, had a recall petition one time, and all kinds of things. But it really gave me an opportunity. For 7 years that I was in the Senate, I was the deciding vote. But it gave me an opportunity, and at times I was in the Democratic caucus, and sometimes I was in the Republican caucus. But it gave me a chance when the door was closed to just make the point that the state is continuing to just pass these requisites and work down their responsibility, be it criminal justice or the health department, pass it down to the county and make them do it. Of course, they never send any money to do it, or not enough. So it really was a great opportunity to try to educate the legislature about county government, because even now there are very few legislators that have served in the county as a local official. So I know that, Sharon, you mentioned the associations. Associations are really valuable to you in trying to educate the legislature and the governor about all the things that you take care of. But Randy, you mentioned the sayings, and in the proclamation you had one. But I think the saying that you remember is that I was in the Senate, and we were talking about gun control or something, and I said that there's always an open season on criminals in Mason County, and there's never a bag limit. Well, Sheriff Salisbury did not think that was a very good thing to say, but anyway, it was on the news, and then the follow-up was, if you come to Mason County, you can get a Mason County lead enema.
Yeah.
But anyway, the young lady that answered the phones for us out in front, and I always insisted that you have someone answer the phone, which you do. And so you could tell it to go to the treasurer or the assessor or whatever. So a fellow called up and wanted to know about the saying that Sheldon had about open season on criminals, and he wanted to know if he should bring his criminal in before he got there, or should he get is there any license to get later on or anything? And she said, no, just go ahead and bring them in. That's just fine. So anyway, we had a lot of fun here, and it's great to see the old friends and people that I've worked with for many years. Last thing, I wrote this down real quick, and I think probably you'll have to fill it in to remember, but I think it was 2006, right after I got elected, we had a big winter storm. We lost the Tahuya River Bridge. That was a big deal. Same storm. Finch Creek Bridge in Hoodsport, demolished. Hunter Creek Bridge in Skoke Valley was so damaged it had to turn to one lane. There was one in Grapeview, and I think there was one other. I think we lost 5 bridges in that storm. And then the next year, the recession hit, and I think we went from 400 employees down to 300 employees. So it was tough times then. And of course, that can all turn around and happen again. But still, I always tell people, there's only, you've heard me say this before, there's only 5 counties in the state with 1 incorporated city. And we're one of those cities. So the adjacent counties are one of those counties, but the adjacent counties like Lewis have 9 incorporated cities. Grace Harbor has 9 incorporated cities. All kinds of incorporated cities in Pierce and Thurston counties. So we didn't have those sewer systems or the bridges, all the things that the larger counties or more populated counties have. So, but it makes it rural, and that makes it fun too. It makes people appreciate the rural lifestyle that we have in Mason County. So anyway, thank you for the proclamation and the recognition. It's great to reminisce and see old friends again. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Senator.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
And then in a little bit, we're going to be taking action on naming our public works facility in Senator Sheldon's honor. And it was a project that he played a large role in, and so we'll be doing that here shortly this morning too. Item 8.4, approval of the resolution placing an honorary facility naming sign at the Public Works Facility, Senator Tim Sheldon Public Works Facility.
Also, I'm pretty excited to see that Mason County is moving forward and recognizing people. It's neat to be able to recognize you as the first person to have a building named after. So I think that's very cool. Thank you, Tim.